Hello guys, and it's the Blanchitra here, and today we're going to talk about Season 9 and the state of the game at the moment. So as of you know, Season 9 is going to start at this Wednesday, and it's going to be a new patch going to bring new changes for AD carries only, and some other champions too, but mainly AD carries and their itemization. So I'd like to talk about the importance of early game in the current state. Is early game even important? Is the early game important when you're playing LeBlanc that dashes once every 18 seconds from levels 1 to 3, or your Zed that can trade once every 22 seconds, against the Lissandra that can clear the wave instantly, or Galio that can tank you and your jungler and still clear the wave and doesn't run out of mana, or against a Zeri that keeps spamming her abilities, or a Nico that constantly shoves the wave, or a Zerath, or an Azir, or you get the point. Basically, mid lane has turned into a shoving party. It's I push you and you push me, and there's nothing more than that to it. Personally, I find it ironic when people who spam Orion into rank get the best results, and all that they've done is just press QW on the wave and then shield themselves, or even poke every now and then, if they decided to play interactively, but nothing interactive with the gameplay at all. It's also very funny how the new champions, like Riot Games, tries to simplify every champion that they create. For example, Azir. They created Azir with the intent of having his E dictating that it should hit a champion and then he gets a shield. But I think a season ago they decided they didn't want any of that and that he gets a shield just because he presses E. Don't they think that it's innately wrong for a champion with a lot of range that never gets into the battle, just pressing E into one of his soldiers and then pulling himself backwards and shielding himself is kinda wrong? Don't they think that it's inherently wrong for a champion with so much DPS damage to have a shield and an escape at the same time? Don't they think that they oversimplified Azir in that manner? But Azir is still a high skill cap champion, so I guess there's that. Also, the platings changes have been nothing beneficial for mid lane at all, because mid lane is under constant pressure from the jungler and also the support sometimes, and sometimes even a winning top laner. And before 5 minutes, which is when most likely mid lane will get the kill, which is the early game, as an assassin you would do that after level 6, which is approximately into the 4 minutes mark, the 7 minutes mark. You really cannot get a plating if you were an AP champion like LeBlanc or Katarina, because your wave push power is not that strong. And if you were a champion that can't push the wave, you will run out of mana as you do it, and if you get gank, you're screwed. But bot lane can actually push for the platings, because they do not have turret barriers. So if platings exist, why do turret barriers also coexist with it? It's either one way or the other. Why are you forbidden from taking early gold as a mid laner just because you happen to play a solo lane? Why does the gold need to go to the bot side of the map? And then people will tell me, look at AP champions, they're really strong. You can look at Brand or Zyra or Zoe. Well, you need to understand that there's a difference between those champions who deal DPS damage, that also can one-shot you, that also can spam their abilities, and other champions like Katarina or LeBlanc. You almost never see those right now, and there's a reason for that. It's because they kinda have no winning matchups or no reason for existing in a game. For example, you play LeBlanc for the early game, but your early game has been nerfed. You cannot win an Orianna, you cannot win a Galio or a Lissandra. And you cannot also outdamage a Brand in the later stages of the game. You can't assassinate him because actually he's kinda a little bit too tanky. And as long as he doesn't end, he can actually just play as safe as possible and let bot lane do all the work. That's all what a mid laner needs to do at this moment. You push the wave and play as safe as possible. If you roam, you lose plating and you lose experience. And if you don't roam, your bot lane keeps losing, so therefore your carrying power is almost zero. I know that there are some exceptions to what I'm saying right now. The scenario that I'm saying is bleak, but it happens way too many times. And you can see the type of champions that are played in mid lane. Galio, Lissandra, and Nivea. And what do these have in common? They all are capable of pushing the wave, and that's really strong. Being able to push the wave is one of the strongest traits in League of Legends. Meanwhile, you have champions who decide either to push the wave or either to roam. Like Zed, LeBlanc, Katarina, these champions have been almost forgotten. And these champions are high skill cap champions. At least they have higher skill cap than Galio. At least you have that going in for them. But are they rewarded? Are you rewarded for playing LeBlanc or Zed? But you can always pick Kassadin. And Kassadin has no losing matchups at the moment. He even wins against ADs. He even wins against Zed and Talon. You can't even bully him with that. He rushes Catalyst of Ions and Seeker Zamgard, and then you deal no damage to him. And you can always out damage it because he spams Q on you. He will poke you and he will freeze the lane. Unless if you push him on the turret, then you'll be under pressure of getting ganked. And you cannot dive a Kassadin, especially a tanky Kassadin, because he can always ult away, and your damage will either be dodged or you even will die if his jungler will show up. But let's talk about the main issue that League of Legends suffers from: the balance team. The balance team is the most incompetent balance team I've ever seen in a game. They do not work, and they have really lazy designs. They try to band-aid every solution, every issue. For an example, when they try to nerf, when they overdo things. Right now they're going to nerf burst damage. They're going to nerf ignite. They're going to nerf early game champions. They're going to buff Ardent Tensor, and they're going to buff Redemption. And they're going to buff the champions that associate with these items. And they're going to also buff AD carries themselves, like you have seen with Vayne. I've played against a Vayne a couple of days ago, and I could not basically click on her at the later stages of the game. If she ults, she's auto-attacking and then tumbling back. So if I can click on her with one ability, I can't click on her with the other, because she's invisible. And I don't know where she is unless if I have Ignite or a Sweeper. And that's pretty ridiculous in my opinion. You should not be allowed to spam. As you can see, Riot's latest designs have been only spam champions. Even Sylas falls into this category. Whether you wear Sylas, Swain, Zoe, Nico, they all have spam abilities. You can always spam their abilities are always up. And if Vayne's Q, which was the decider of who's a skilled Vayne and who's not, the perfect choosing of when to Q, the perfect choice on when to Q and where to Q and what to Q, is gone by this insanely low cooldown new Q during the ulti. That's going to be very ridiculous, because right now you're lowering the skill cap on Vayne, you're lowering the skill floor on Vayne, and that causes a lot of issues in League of Legends when Vayne is a playable champion, accessible to everyone, without putting the hours into play her. I mean, she wasn't that difficult to begin with, and now she's even more powerful. She's invisible every half a second or every second. And since patch 8.18, there wasn't a single meaningful change that occurred to the game. Nothing happened to the state of the game since 8.18 or 8.15. The balance team has been on a long vacation until now, and when they joined back, when they returned to work, they were already too late, because they already look very, very clueless on what's wrong with the game. And they actually enhance what's wrong with the game by how many spam champions they introduce, and how they balance the champions that they release, or the champions that they have created. The way that they do the things is really just, well, at best abysmal, and at worst atrocious. For an example, I can tell you that since 8.18 until 9.2, there hasn't been a single change that actually changes anything about the game, except nerfing early game champions. This constant bombardment for the damage in League of Legends. They say that there's way too much damage in the game, but I don't see that, because there are also ways to mitigate this damage. And if you nerf damage, why do you need to buff the champions who mitigate the damage? If you want AD carries to be able to one-shot by releasing Storm Racer, and also being able to do DPS, and being able to be tanky, and now you'll give them a shield in the name of the new Phantom Dancer? That is a joke. And not only that, you will also increase the power of overheal, And not only that, you will also buff Ardent Sensor. And not only that, you will buff Redemption. And you will also trigger Locket of Iron Solari. To which point are you going to stop overdoing things to compensate for your laziness and incapability and incompetence? To which extent are you willing to ruin the state of the game by bringing Season 7 back? It's literally Season 7 masqueraded in Season 9. Nothing had changed since Season 7. You almost killed the game once, and you had to purchase Paragon, your main competitor, to stay alive. And now, I guess you didn't learn the lesson. This was part 1. I'll do a comprehensive part 2 later. Sorry this video was rushed out, but I had to get it out. Anyway guys, if you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like on the video if you liked it. And if you disliked it, tell me why in the comments below, and dislike the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and part 2 will be coming out very soon. And thank you for watching this video. As always, I'll see you in another video.